Yo, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking our first look at WARDOGS. So this is an upcoming shooter from Bulkhead Studios, located over in the UK. These are the guys who made Battalion 1944, I think that was back in 2018. And this time they're having a crack at a more modern shooter, and WARDOGS, to me it looks like it'll strike a middle ground between the arcadiness of Battlefield and slightly more, let's call it hardcore or realistic games like Insurgency, or maybe even Armor, I suppose, is the one it reminds me of the most. So what I've done is I've picked through all of the assets on their website. They do have one video that's looping in the background. They've also got a bunch of concept art, and I have diligently gone through every single frame of the video to pick out as much information about what I think this game is going to revolve around, so we can discuss that, because I do think this is going to be a game that will interest Battlefield players. Guys, before we get started, if you do enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I will be covering this game going forward into the future as we hear about it, along with Delta Force and Battlefield, so make sure that you are subbed so you don't miss out on any future videos. And as always guys, thank you so much for your continued support. So their short description that they have written on the website here says, WARDOGS rewrites the rules of all-out warfare. 3 teams conflict over land, sea and air to seize and secure a dynamic 100-player battlefield where every tactical decision, team play action and risk gets rewarded. So there's a few interesting things here. First of all, it's going to have 3 teams. Not exactly sure how that's going to work out. The first thing that comes to mind for me, having played a bunch of real-time strategy games and ended up in like free-for-alls and stuff like that, a lot of the time you can get double-teamed by other random players. You're just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it doesn't really feel that fair. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to balance all of that stuff. And then of course you've got 100 players split amongst 3 teams, which doesn't work out at all. So that means there's going to be one leftover player, or one of those 3 teams is going to get an extra player. Therefore, it makes me curious as to maybe one of the players has some sort of a commander role. Again, I don't know how that's going to work for 3 different teams, but I'm sure we're going to learn more about that in the future. And then we've also got land, sea, and air. So that right there is definitely ticking a lot of those Battlefield boxes. For me, that's always been one of the things that has attracted me to Battlefield, is that all-out warfare, the sandbox experience, all of these different kinds of vehicles alongside the infantry play. So with that said, let's have a bit of a rummage through this video that I've been looping for you guys in the background and see what we can ascertain from some of these stills. So this is the first one here, and down in the bottom left, you will immediately notice that there are indeed 3 teams. There's a blue team, a red team, and a green team. Down in the bottom right, it is quite blurry there, so it's hard to make out, but it looks like you're going to get different kinds of equipment. Way too blurry to make out what any of those icons or text says there. Then we have this shot here, and this is the most interesting one for me. So clearly we are flying around here in a little bird. The little bird doesn't look like it has any weapons, I don't think. Originally, I thought it looked like it had some rocket pods under the left pylon there, but there isn't one on the right pylon, which could totally be a thing. That is like a realistic thing to do, but there are also no miniguns here either, so I'm not 100% sure yet whether we are going to get vehicles with munitions capable of dishing out firepower, or they're just going to be transport vehicles, because that could certainly be the case. We've also seen a couple of other transport vehicles, which I'll show you guys later on in the video, but I haven't seen any footage of any vehicle actually firing something. Now down in the bottom left, you'll notice that the red team, which seems to be the helicopter because it's red on the minimap, and that's generally for enemy, so if it's not for the enemy, then that probably means it's the red team. They have a score of 0 at the moment, so that would indicate that you're trying to accrue score in this game mode rather than deflate the enemy score like in Conquest in Battlefield. Down in the bottom right, you can clearly see this is the number of seats in this vehicle, so that looks like a steering wheel to me there that the pilot is in possession of, and then we've got 5 different seats there in the little bird. You'll also notice up in the top left that there is an icon that says CZ, not quite sure what that stands for, but it could be for combat zone. It is quite a ways away, almost a kilometer away in fact, and then right above the minimap it says that he's currently located in no man's land. So that's got me thinking that perhaps there is a battlefield that you can go and join, and then you can flee outside of that battlefield and go to other areas outside on the map. You'll also notice in the center of the screen, there is another player. somebody called Lewis Heath, and you can bet your ass that I stalked this guy online, and sure enough, he's a junior developer working for Bulkhead, and he is 2.3 kilometers away, so that really gives you a sense of scale for just how big the map or maps in this game are going to be. These are not Battlefield-sized maps, they are way bigger than that. So that's why I kind of get more like Armor vibes from this than anything else. It's clearly not going to be a battle royale or an extraction shooter because it's a team-based game. And then up in the top right as well, I don't know about you guys, but to me that kind of looks like a dollar sign, and I think it says $1,525. Could be completely off though. It is quite blurry, but that's just my first thought when I saw that. Let me know what you guys think it is. It could be the time for all I know, so that's sheer speculation, just like everything else in this video, of course. So here we go with the next vehicle. This is a transport chopper of some description. And once again, you can see on the right side there, it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 passenger spots, it looks like there. So that's quite a lot of people. You're going to notice that CZ marker off in the distance. And this time it looks like it's around 2.8 kilometers away. So really showing the size and scale of the map. And you're going to notice that there is a lot of forest on this map as well. There's also some fog over there. So it looks to be quite realistic. So here is a much better weapon shot than the one we saw before, and now if we look in the bottom right, it's much more legible. You can see this is the SV98 here. I believe that is the number of magazines he's holding. It's single fire. We've also got zeroing, so that says 300 meters all the way down in the bottom right. I don't really know what the thing is to the left of the magazines though, so who knows, but a lot of this stuff really makes me feel like they've placed more emphasis on realism than say a Battlefield game generally would. And then above the minimap, I think that says control zone, so maybe they haven't named all of the zones yet, and when you're inside of the combat zone, it says control zone, and when you're outside of it, it simply says no man's land. Okay, so just wanted to show you guys, I know this is like a generally blurry shot here, but pay attention to the top right of the screen there. That particular part of the screen is much more clear, and I'm now almost certain that that is a dollar sign there showing $1,405. So basically it seems there is some sort of mechanism in the game where you need to accrue money to buy weapons and equipment. And then finally here we've got another helicopter flyover. Really gives you a sense once again of the scope and scale of the map. We've got some hills there in the background where snipers could definitely be lurking. Lots of forest around. What looks like a sawmill down there below, but it's obviously outside of the main objective, which is over on the left side of the screen there. You'll also notice on the minimap, there's this large circle, so maybe that's some sort of a cap zone and you've got to capture that control area. Who knows, but I'm certainly excited to learn more. They also had a bunch of concept art on the website here, so whilst this is just concept art, it really gives you an idea of the aesthetic that they're going for. Much more dark and gloomy, not like really dystopian, but militaristic, realistic, I would say, of a wartime environment than a lot of games like Call of Duty or Battlefield. This is like a much more darker tone that I'm getting from these concept art images here. Although I have to say, what I've seen from the in-game trailer there, it doesn't look quite as dark as it does in these images. So, you know, maybe it's going to be somewhat lighter than this, but like a lot of industrial facilities here that we're seeing, sawmills, steelworks, all that kind of stuff. And as far as I can tell, this is all just from the same map, so I'm not sure if it's going to be like more Battlefield-y, as in we're going to have like 10 maps on launch, or there's just going to be 1 or maybe 2 really big maps, because if the maps are as big as I think they're going to be, then it's probably just going to be the 1 map, or maybe 2 or 3 at a maximum. So yes, I am very intrigued right now. So I think this game could show a lot of promise. Of course, we haven't really seen anything yet, right? This is just what's on their website, so whenever they make their first proper announcement and they show us some real gameplay footage, I am going to be all here for that. They've also gotten Lossy, so for those of you who remember, Lossy used to be a Battlefield content creator, one of the best in fact, and he actually quit doing YouTube content to pursue a career in the gaming industry, and he is the community manager now for Bulkhead Entertainment. So whether he applied to them or they kind of contacted him and said, hey, do you want to come and work for us? I do wonder if it's because of his affinity for the Battlefield community. Clearly, having him on board is going to be an asset for their team if they are focusing on going after the Battlefield community, because let's face it, we as a community are pretty much wide open to anybody who wants to sweep in and take us, because Battlefield just hasn't really been delivering of late. And the senior game director behind Bulkhead Studios, he even made a tweet here saying, happy to have Lossy on board with us, as well as community manager. His knowledge and expertise in Battlefield will be a great help for WARDOGS in the future. So that once again would lead me to believe that they're kind of going after our little community with what they're planning for the game. And I'm all for it, man. I really think that Battlefield needs more competition. They've been sleeping on the job for way too long, and it's quite frankly a wonder that nobody has swept in and captured this community with another title instead. Oh yeah, one last thing, by the way, on the WARDOGS Twitter, there is a little video from in office. By the way, the office over at Bulkhead looks awesome. Like, they've got a pool table, they've got weapons lying around because they're modeling them for the game and stuff. They've even got some lollipops there on the table. But you're going to notice there's some footage playing in the background, and it seems like he's driving around in a pickup truck or some sort of a military vehicle, maybe even there. So once again, that's another transport vehicle. So far, the only vehicles we've seen have all been for transport. So not quite sure if we're going to get like A10 Warthogs and anything of that sort of scale like we've seen in Battlefield and Army. It may just be more for the transport side. Right, I better wrap it up there, guys, because this has been quite a long video, but let me know what you think of WARDOGS down below. Let me know, as a Battlefield player, is this something that piques your interest or not? And of course, if there's anything that I missed in the video that you maybe saw, leave that down in the comments as well. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos on WARDOGS. I will be covering this in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next video.